Hello and welcome to another SATS revision video. In this video we're going to be looking at dividing and multiplying fractions by whole numbers. What I've done is I've gone through every single SATS paper over the last few years and pulled all of the dividing and multiplying fraction questions out and put them on one sheet for you to download. The link to that is in the description. What I'd recommend doing is having a go at the sheet, answer the questions as best you can, and then come back to this video and see if you got the answers right. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about the method here. I will cover it basically, but if you do want to find out more, if you're still struggling with it, have a look at the videos that are linked in the description where I go into it in a lot more detail. Okay, 3/5 divided by 3. Now you should know if we're going to divide a number, it's always going to get smaller. So if we're talking about fractions, the larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. So if we're going to divide fifths by 3, they're going to turn into 15ths. So you're effectively multiplying 5 by 3. We don't touch the numerator in this case, so it will be 3/5 divided by 3. That will become 15ths. So our answer will be 3/15. Now don't worry if you weren't 100% sure how I did that. Like I mentioned, make sure you watch that video that's in the description where I go into it in a lot more detail. Now sometimes you can simplify these fractions, however it's not necessary, so in this video I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just leave the answer as is, even if I can simplify it. So our answer for 3/5 divided by 3 is 3/15. Make sure you put your answer in the box. Okay, same again, 3/4 divided by 2. If we split quarters in half, they're going to turn into eighths. Remember, we don't touch the numerator. 3/4 divided by 2 then must be 3/8. You should be seeing a pattern now. 2/5 divided by 2. If we're going to halve fifths, divide them by 2, they're going to turn into tenths. So it will be 2/10. Likewise, 5/8 divided by 2. The denominator is going to get twice as big. Our answer will therefore be 5/16. And again, make sure you put your answer in the box. Fairly straightforward again. 2/3 divided by 3. This is going to get 3 times bigger. Our answer will be 2/9. Okay, we've covered all of the division questions, so let's have a look at the multiplication ones. So in this case, if we've got a whole number multiplying a fraction, all we need to do is multiply the numerator, the top number, by this whole number here. So 2 times 140 is 280. The final step is we need to put that denominator back on, but we don't change it. So it will be 2 times 140, which is 280. And make sure we put in the fifths there. So that's our answer, 280 The same rule applies for this question. 5/6 multiplied by 540. We are just going to multiply these two numbers together and keep our denominator the same. Now you could do column multiplication for this, a written method. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do 10 times 540, which is 5,400. And then I'm going to half it to get my answer. It's a quick little trick. So half of 5,400 is 2,700. And remember, we need to keep our denominator the same. So it will be 2,706. Okay, so what do we do if we have a mixed number multiplied by a whole? All we need to do is we need to convert this to an improper fraction. And the way you do that is you say, well, how many halves go into this whole number here? How many halves make up one whole? Well, we know that 2 halves make up a whole, so that whole number can be changed to 2 halves. It's exactly the same. Now we also have another half, so we need to make sure we add that on. 2 halves plus 1 half equals 3 halves. And now we know that this is equivalent to 3 halves, we can multiply that by 57. So 3 halves multiplied by 57. Remember, we just multiply the numerator. 3 times 50 is 150. 3 times 7 is 21. Add those together, 171. And remember, the halves need to go on as well. So our answer is 171 halves. Okay, so the same applies to this one. How many halves make up one whole? 2 halves. plus 1/2 equals 3/2 again. Now 3/2 multiplied by 40. 40 times 3 is 120. Make sure we put the denominator on again, so our answer is 120 halves. Okay, we haven't got halves anymore, we have quarters. So how many quarters make up this number? How many quarters make up 1? You should know that 4 quarters make up 1 whole, plus the 3 quarters. That gives us 7 quarters. 7 quarters multiplied by 10 is 70 quarters. So that's our answer. I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. It's completely free and it really does help me out. If you want to access this sheet and many other resources, have a look in the description and click the link. It'll take you to all the resources I've put together and other videos that I think are helpful for you. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.